You need teachers.
You need the basics.
You need to practice, or else you'll forget.
Guys, you need
someone to show you.
You need a structure.
It's not pretentious enough to
take
the
English as your own,
are you?
Study
more. Stop. With all that noise, it's hard to understand what's worth doing or not. It's hard to make sense of all the advice out there because a lot of it contradicts itself. But don't you worry, because in this video, I will paint you a picture of the exact mindset that you need to adopt in order to learn or to start learning. And I will also tell you what beliefs you should have, what actions you should take in order to start learning and learn eventually. I will also, by the end, tell you what's not worth doing and what will actually impair your learning. So you want to watch the video till the very end because there's some very valuable advice at the end. So strap yourselves in and let's go. The first one is that you should have a growth mindset. As opposed to a fixed mindset, someone that has a growth mindset will believe that they can improve, that their cognitive abilities, that anything related to any skill is not set in stone, that it can be improved over time. The second condition is that you are interested in the language and you're not doing it for the wrong reasons. If you're interested in what the language can bring you and not the language itself, you're gonna have some problems later down the line because your curiosity is an inherent part of the process. You might be interested in what the language can bring you, like girls, maybe it will get you girls or boys, or maybe you think that it will get you a promotion, make your resume look better, but that's not enough to fuel your learning. Condition number 3 is that you have enough mental resources. Maybe you're going through something traumatic right now, maybe you're thinking about something 24/7 and you have a lot on your plate. If that's the case, take care of this first because you need to start from a clean slate. If you're not able to give some free thoughts, if you're not able to give your attention to focus fully on something, and you always have something in the back of your mind, it's not gonna work. Just take care of this first, and then you will be able to learn the language. What's that? You're surprised I didn't mention whether or not you had enough time? Well, it's because it doesn't fucking matter. Time is not what will teach you or that what will help you learn your target language. And there's 2 reasons behind that. Number 1, whether or not you have time doesn't matter? Well, because we all have time to some extent, right? I actually made a video about this, so I'll just pin it to one of the corners. And 2, language learning doesn't require time in a formal fashion, in a formal way. It just requires attention and a little bit of time here and there during the day. It is not sitting down at a desk studying for 2 hours. Doesn't work like that. And you'll know exactly why if you continue watching this video and how it will look like. But just saying I don't have enough time is just an excuse out of fear. Nothing wrong, nothing to be ashamed about, but that's what it is. I'll say it now. Language learning is a beautiful endeavor. Learning a language is amazing. It will bring you so many life experiences. It will make you grow as a person. But it comes with its lot of disappointments, tough challenges, awkward situations, awkward conversations. All of this comes with it. And if you don't have that one thing that we'll just tell you about, you won't be able to succeed. You won't be able to withstand all of those challenges. And that thing, I'm sorry folks, but you can't buy it. No one can teach it to you. It's inherently yours. And this thing is obsession. No, don't
Obsession?
put the video just yet.
Obsessed about what? What does
Obsession
it even mean?
About the language. You'll be obsessed about the language, about figuring out how to say this, how to say that, about just being in contact all the time, being in contact with the people that speak it, with the language itself. You will see that you won't stop thinking about it. And that's what will help you go through all of the shitty challenges, all of the shitty situations that it will put you through. Oh my god.
Is it the part where you get all inspirational and tell us to study 24/7?
No, quite the contrary, really. You will be obsessed, you will get obsessed, and you will be able to do a lot, right, in terms of quantity and quality. But it doesn't mean that in order to get obsessed, you should work yourself out. You should do it all the time, study all the time. No, not at all, right? It's just, I'll use this metaphor. Remember when your parents told you not to scratch any mosquito bite or the like when you were a kid? At least mine did. Don't scratch it, because if you keep scratching it, it will itch more and more. Well, you know what? We're gonna do the exact opposite. We're gonna scratch that itch, and we're gonna satisfy our curiosity. If condition 2 is respected for you, it means that you're at least a little bit interested in the language. You're at least a little bit curious about the language, how it sounds like, what it is. But it will take you in the right direction. And this is what we care about, going in the right direction. And I'll explain how we can turn this curiosity into a beast of obsession that will take us very, very far. So now comes the actionable part. Assuming that you can read and pronounce your target. Wait, what? What's that? Oh, you can't read or pronounce it yet? That's okay, no problem. Just keep watching the video. For others that can already read and pronounce their target language, just skip to this time code. But for you guys, just stick to the video, stay here. I'll just explain to you how you can get comfortable with a different writing system and a pronunciation system. There are 2 categories. One, the first one is that of the languages that are using alphabets, like Russian, Ukrainian, Thai, Hindi, all of them are just using code to encrypt the language itself. So it's just symbols for sounds. Second one is like Chinese or Japanese that use one symbol for every word. I know it's not like this exactly. I don't speak those languages. It's just for the sake of simplification. So for the first category, you need to put things in perspective. Yes, it's daunting to see another alphabet that you've never seen, some symbols that you've never seen before. It is. It's scary. I'll give that to you. But just put things in perspective. Those are just symbols that correspond to sounds. Once you're comfortable with them, they're just like the Latin alphabet. They're good. You'll be all good. So you can look at them individually and just like try to remember what sound they produce, but that's a tedious process, and it's kind of like remembering the 101st digits of pi. In the case of the 100 digits of pi, they use techniques, mnemonic techniques that help them like make sense of all those digits, so that there's like a storyline they can follow and remember everything. But that's different from what you're gonna do with alphabets. Why? Because you can't have this extra step. And most importantly, those symbols, this code is already used to make up some stories, out there. You don't need to come up with one that is not relevant. Just what you're gonna do is very simple. You are just going to either have someone next to you that speaks that language that can read it and pronounce it, or have Google Translate help you. But you're gonna look at words, try to read them. If you can't like get help from the person next to you, try to pronounce them, repeat them. And I just want you to associate the sounds with the shapes. It's as easy as that. It doesn't take one try, it doesn't even take one day, it takes a bit more than this. But once you're comfortable enough to read on your own, it just goes so much faster. Read some simple words, pronounce them out loud, get it corrected, or compare it to what Google Translate does, but not that great. I mean, you should get a tutor in that case. If you don't know anyone, just get a tutor on italki. I'll talk about tutors later in the video, how they can actually impair your learning. For the different alphabets, do not use the phonetic version of it in the Latin alphabet. I'm not talking about the phonetic alphabet. I'm talking about the transcription of those different alphabets in English characters. It's not helping. It's just adding another layer of difficulty. Trust yourself, trust the process, and just train your intuition. That's it. The second category is the one of languages that use symbols, but for each word. I'm talking about Chinese and Japanese, those languages. Same thing, you want to train your eyes and your ears at the same time in order to remember the shapes and associate them with the meaning and the sounds. If you've done it, if you've taught yourself Chinese or Japanese, please tell us in the comment section how you went around it and how you did to be comfortable with the writing system if you managed to do that. Okay, I will end that note now. What is actionable? What should you do to start being curious and then more and more curious and at some point obsessed so that you have this driving force within you to overcome any challenge? Well, easy. I talked about scratching and itching. Well, anytime you have an itch is anytime you want to know something. It can be an aspect of the culture, an aspect of the language, a word itself. It will most likely be some words, some sentences, structures, anything. If you want to say something, if you want to know about something, look it up. Read it out loud, or at least move your lips to it so that you can optimize the memorization process. But you know what? You won't even need to remember it. You won't even need to put it down and keep it somewhere. Look it up, satisfy this curiosity of yours, and go on with your day. That's what I was saying when language learning doesn't require time in a formal fashion. That's what it is. You have time during the day where you're just daydreaming. You're just thinking about something else. Well, that something else will most likely be the language you're learning at some point. And when you will be wondering about something, how to say something, just pull out your phone, look it up, and that's it. You can forget it, and you will, once, twice, maybe 3 times, maybe more than that. And it doesn't matter. That's the beautiful thing about it. You're training your curiosity to turn into an obsession, right? So even though you will remember it, the correct approach to it is, oh, I wonder what this is. Either you'll go, oh, okay, I'll just look it up real quick. Oh, that's how we say it. Or you'll go, oh, wait, I know. Don't tell me. Oh, that's how we say it, right? So, at some point, you will have looked it up enough so that you will know. And by doing this, you will notice 2 things. Number 1, that what you will look up will be more and more complex. At first, it might just be, one or I don't know, and or I, all of that. And then later down the road, it will be more complex. So it might just be some structures, some sentences. The second thing is you will look up words at a much higher frequency than at first. And it's normal. It's exactly how it should be.
Yeah, but what about grammar?
Sorry, what about grammar? Can you learn with no structure at all? Yeah. Your fear will make you feel like you need to know everything. You need to know how to say everything just in case. You need to know of everything before you need to use it. But this is simply not the case. It's not how it works. Because by wanting to use something, a concept, a word, a structure that you haven't yet mastered, and not being able to succeed and to actually manage to speak properly, that's when you will learn. That's when neural plasticity will come into play. Acknowledge that fear, say it hi for me, and let it go. It's that easy. Well, it's that simple, not that easy. Conventional methods are mostly a reaction to fear. Fear of not succeeding, fear of failing at first and just it taking too long. And that's why they don't work. That's why people get stuck, because they avoid the thing that they're scared about and it just gets more scary so that they avoid it even more, and what they're doing doesn't lead to them speaking or them being fluent. You know now that there is a fair deal of fear in language learning. And now that you're aware of this, you can just acknowledge that fear and embrace it. Be okay with it. Your fear will help you direct your effort, and it will help you know what's the next step. But that's for later. For now, get obsessed. And that doesn't involve too much fear. What's scary about it is that you will have no structure. So you will think that, oh my God, I have no structure. What if I forget to look up things? What if I don't do it? What if it doesn't work? Don't worry. It will. If you start looking up words, and if you start maybe forcing yourself for the 4 or 5 first times, it'll become a habit. So don't worry about that. If you're at least a little bit interested in your language and you have this pressure of learning, you won't forget about that. Why does this work? Why does it all work? This, what I'm talking about. Well, because your curiosity is a very funny creature. It likes getting answers of what it's wondering, what it's asking for, but it prefers staying unattended and just wondering a little bit. It prefers knowing a little bit less than what it would like to know. Every time it's sitting there and you're just not paying attention to it and you're just wondering about stuff, right? Because you won't pull out your phone or your dictionary right away. It will take some time. Every time it's just sitting there wondering, it'll get bigger, until it just becomes this big ball of motivation, big ball of energy, this big ball of courage that we call obsession. And this process, you can't force it. You can't buy it. There's nothing. You just have to go through it and feed your curiosity a little bit each time. If you just come to give a lot of information at once, give your curiosity a lot of things that it was not really wondering about, then it's just like putting a big log on a small fire, right? It will just kill the fire. So little by little, it's just like planting a seed in your mind, watering it a little bit at a time. Not too much, because you can drown it, just a little bit, and you'll see that it will grow into a beautiful tree of obsession. Think of this as life rules. This is no hack, no technique, no method. This is a set of life rules that you will go by and that will help you craft a life that actually teaches you that language that you want to learn, instead of hopelessly trying to go and learn this language through whatever ready formula you find out there. Okay, now let's talk about what will prevent you from learning. What will impair your learning now or later? From day 0, not even day 1, from day 0 until the end of your language learning career. Do not delegate your learning. What does that mean? Well, do not go up to someone that knows that language or that teaches that language and tell them, I want to learn, teach me everything I should know about it. It doesn't work this way. It should be coming within you, right? Learning is especially language, is a very, very personal thing. So don't delegate your learning. Tutors are great, but they're great help once you started doing the job, once you started being comfortable with some aspects of the language, once you can actually communicate on a basic level. There's no basics per se, but communicate with basic ideas and have just enough to have a small conversation. Once you're there, tutors can be of great help. They can help you to correct your pronunciation, they can help you correct some of the mistakes you might make. But before that, you're on your own, and it's for the better. Do not fix any time goal. Do not have any specific goal. Don't tell yourself, I want to learn in 3 months. I want to be able to express myself in the past in 2. No, it doesn't work like that. I'm sorry. But your fear will tell you that it's a good idea because it's kind of like an insurance for you not to fail and not to bail also. But it's just a reaction to fear, like we talked about. Don't tell everyone about your language projects. It sounds odd, right? We hear about holding people accountable, right? About telling everyone so that we have to do it because we have the social pressure of doing it. But the thing is, when you tell people about your project, about your language learning project, right? Your endeavor, you tell them at first, okay? And of course, it's gratifying. Of course, it's validating. People are proud of you, that you are brave, that you have the ambition to learn a language. But what you're doing is just seeking validation, okay? It's tough. Those words are tough. I've done it multiple times. I won't lie. But what I learned is if you don't tell anyone and you just do it on your own, well, first of all, they'll know soon enough because they'll know. If you're just going out to people and stating that you are indeed learning a language and that it's your goal now and that you're all about that now, well, you're going to be rewarded by others and even by yourself. But you haven't done anything yet. You haven't looked up any words. You haven't tried to learn pronunciation. You haven't achieved much. So you're rewarding this. So you're feeling content because it feels good. You're validated. But you haven't done anything yet. So it won't push you to action. And it will kind of like put you in this vicious circle where you'll put off learning that language and put off. And maybe that's when you'll think, oh, I don't have enough time, because you'll protect yourself. I've done it before, not worth it. Do it for yourself and only for yourself, and don't tell anyone. Don't have any list, any document, any notebook with everything you know in that language, or with every translation you came across, with every structure you came across. Your memory should be in your head, not on paper. Do not delegate your memory as well. Just what you should remember is in your head. If you don't know it yet, it's okay. And I'll tell you something right now. You don't need to know everything you will use in a conversation. There's a lot that you can just grab, right, from the world. And even then, you can just ask the person if you're having a conversation, how do we say this? So no need to remember everything. You will forget a lot of the thing, and it's for the better. You need to forget a few times because you need to forget a few times before you can really remember something. And now you probably have understood by now, but no language apps, no flashcards. Those people use them because they're scared of doing the right thing, of doing what really teaches them. It's very subconscious. Every time I talk about fear, it's extremely subconscious. It takes a lot of time and wisdom and introspection to understand that fear dictates our movements and our says and our actions. Now, I just want to give you some practical advice. It's just 3 bullet points. Download the Google Translate app. I find it to be the best. Really good, free, very convenient, very reliable if you give it enough context. Film yourself. Yeah, that's very important. Early in your language journey, just film yourself. Put your phone down, make it stand against the wall, against something. Press record. Talk to the camera for 2 minutes. It's gonna feel awful at first, but then you'll appreciate it. It's actually a nice feeling once you're used to it. I'm doing it right now. But record yourself because you will want to know how you sounded at first. And you might think that you don't know enough, but if you're watching this video, I'm guessing that you've been tampering with your target language a little bit. So you know some words, some blobs of sentences. Doesn't matter. Just say whatever's on your mind for 2 minutes. No pressure. Just for the sake of recording and the sake of understanding where you came from once you will have succeeded. And also, don't constrain your learning. I talked about it a little bit, but actually quite a bit. Always scratch an itch. Sometimes you won't have the possibility to do it like right away, but just try to remember and look things up or find answers for your questions later. Now I will end the video in a very unconventional way. It might seem rude, it might seem weird, don't think too much of it, but here we go. I don't want this video to be another video that you watched, that you consumed, and that you forget about 2 hours later. I want this video to stick. I want this video to stick with you. I want it to change the way you think. I assume that you feel pretty motivated, that you feel empowered by this video, right? That you realize how much you can achieve, how far you can get with language learning. And that's great. But the odds are majorly against you. Almost everyone has wanted to learn a foreign language at some point. And I don't know the statistics, but almost none succeeded. Almost none did what it takes to learn a language. And they were all in your shoes right now. They were all feeling motivated. They were all feeling inspired. So you will probably not learn your target language. Beat the odds and prove me wrong. Thanks for watching this video. Share this video with whoever it could help, with whoever it could be useful to. Maybe keep that video in a note on your phone so that you can come back to it often. That will help you. Of course, like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. This was Luc Leandri. À bientôt. Your starting statement should be: I know I don't know everything, and I never will. What I know, though, is enough. This doesn't mean that I won't improve and that I don't want to. Of course I do. But at the same time, I am satisfied with whatever I already achieved. It might be subjectively big or significantly small. It doesn't matter. You are neither good, neither bad. You're just someone that tries hard. And so am I.